Seeing Trump supporters literally face off against nurses kind of makes you realize what side the protesters are on. This is the latest Operation Gridlock protest, this time in Colorado, where Trump supporters gathered near the Capitol building in Denver in defiance of stay-at-home orders that were enacted to contain the spread of the virus. Instead, they congregated together in the midst of a global pandemic because clearly the virus won't stand a chance against this display of American exceptionalism. And yet this is the danger of Trump's outright refusal to condemn these dangerous protests, because his supporters hear his equivocating like this and they get emboldened.
Yeah, that they want the shutdown lifted. Should they go ahead if it's in a state where there haven't been 14 days?
They don't have any risk. People feel that way. You're allowed to protest. I mean, they feel that way. I watched the protest and they were all 6 feet apart. I mean, it was a very orderly group of people. But, you know, some have gone too far. Some governors have gone too far. Some of the things that happened are maybe not so appropriate. And I think in the end it's not going to matter because we're starting to open up our states. As far as protesters, you know, I see protesters for all sorts of things. And I'm with everybody. I'm with everybody.
And suddenly you have people protesting against measures literally put in place so that we can get back to work. It's these people who refuse to stay at home and therefore spread the virus and prolong the stay-at-home orders that they themselves are protesting. So if they're upset that these measures are being put in place for such a long time, they might want to take that up with these Trump-loving patriots who can't manage to stay at home long enough for us to actually flatten the curve. Consider too that if we reopen the country, all of this will have been for nothing. There are states that are still today seeing new cases spike. So if we were to simply abandon our stay-at-home orders and encourage everyone back out into public, a second wave would completely dwarf what we've already endured. And that's not just conjecture. Look at the death count from the pandemic of 1918. The second wave was far, far deadlier than the first, and it came about when people grew tired of mitigation efforts. Sound familiar? By the way, consider too what the prolonging of this outbreak would do to the very businesses that these protesters are trying to save. If we have even more people contract the virus, if we risk our healthcare system collapsing, if Americans aren't confident in their own safety, do you really think that businesses are going to thrive? They'll continue to suffer, only that suffering will be prolonged by months. And so this rush toward an outcome will only serve to delay that very outcome. By the way, consider why Trump wants the country reopened so fast. It's so that the economy recovers in time for the election. That's it. And he's happy to stir his supporters up by making this a political wedge issue, but the fact is that he's just priming them to do his own bidding. Because this has always been political for Trump. From refusing to accept sick Americans on a cruise ship because he didn't want his numbers to go up, to delaying stimulus checks so that his signature could be on them, to turning the daily coronavirus press briefings into campaign rallies. He's not concerned with the loss of American lives, he's concerned with the losses on the Dow. And so of course he's willing to sacrifice yet more American lives if it means he can finally get businesses back up and running, because to him, that's a small price to pay en route to his re-election. And that is his first, second, and third priority. And look, none of this is to say that what those protesting in good faith doesn't count, because this is difficult. But everyone is hurting right now. We all want to get back to work, but it can't come at the price of risking people's lives, and it's as simple as that. I would let the economy stay shut down the entire year if it meant I could be certain that my family would be okay, and I'd bet and hope that everyone watching this would feel the same way. But the point is that if everyone can cooperate, if everyone can stay inside, if everyone can be a team player, then we will be able to reopen the country. But the point is that it takes everyone, including those people throwing temper tantrums in front of heroic medical professionals risking their actual lives on a daily basis on the front lines of this outbreak. Because I can promise every protester out there, while you might be inconvenienced, it won't hold a candle to what our doctors and nurses are facing every day. And right now, their lives depend on all of us pitching in and staying at home.